Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Wayman Gaming. This is going to be my first series of Dark Souls 2. We're going to go ahead and start a new game. I've played through this game a couple of times already. So here's the beginning, just in case you want to watch it.
Maybe in a dream, a murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything once branded. The symbol of the curse. An augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drang Lake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why. Like a moth drawn to a flame, your wings will burn in anguish. Time after time. For that is your fate. The fate of the cursed.
So yeah, in the beginning I always thought that the graphics were really good, especially when they were in the forest. I I really thought, or I couldn't tell if it was CG or if it was like live action. So yeah, for this playthrough, what I want to do is go through the game as or with a pyromancy build. Something I haven't done before. I've done pretty much everything else. Not exactly everything else, but I've done like a pure sorcerer build. I've done hex build, sword and board. I've done this weird. I've done this weird mage build in which it was like a combination of pyromancy, hex, and just like regular sorcerer with the soul spells and stuff like that. And that didn't really work too well. This guy right here, he doesn't really even care about you, so you should just walk past him. And there is an item right down here. So hopefully this will kind of show you a little bit of stuff that you might not have caught your first time through. Like I said, I've been through this a couple times already. I've been through the game 4 times. So, there's another cutscene.
What seems to be the ruckus? Oh my, your face. The face of the curse. It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you? You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them. Hollows prey upon men, feast upon their souls. This is the fate of the cursed. What is your name?
Let's see. I gotta type it, so let's go ahead and just put Daniel right there. I hit OK.
At least you know your own name. Here's your reward for sharing. It's a human effigy. Take a closer look. Who do you think it's supposed to be? Think back, deep into your past. Yes, it's an effigy of you.
Alright, so this is where you go ahead and customize and get your class and gift ready. So since I want to be a pyromancer, I don't actually know if I want to start off with a sorcerer or a cleric. The cleric starts off with a lot of faith and has a good amount of strength to start off, and also attunement. I guess I can go through all of these things. So this first thing is your level. Obviously, it just throughout the game you gather souls, and when you gather souls, you go to a lady called the Emerald Herald. That we will come up to later. And so you trade souls for levels, and the higher level you are, the more souls it costs to level up. Here's your vigor. It increases your maximum HP. Your endurance, which increases your stamina. Your HP is going to be the red bar at the top left, and your endurance is going, or your stamina, sorry, is going to be the green bar at the top left. Your vitality increases maximum load. So with everything that you equip in your inventory, even rings, items, they all weigh you down even a little bit. And so with that, there's a threshold of 70% in which, like if you want to be agile, you want to be below that 70% so that you can roll. Because if you're over 70%, then your rolls are a lot slower, and at that point it's not really worth it. If you go over your maximum load, your character starts to walk very slowly, and of course you really don't want that. So if you want to be a heavy character, you're going to increase your vitality so you can wear heavier armor and use heavier weapons. This is your attunement. Increases number of spells that can be attuned, boost spellcasting speed. So what that is the higher your attunement, the more spells you can have equipped at once. Some spells take up more than one slot, so you could have 3 slots, but one spell could take up 1 slot, and one spell could take up 2 slots, so you'd have 2 spells in the end. Let's go down to Strength. Attribute required to wield heavy, powerful weapons also boosts attack. So weapons, all weapons and shields have stat requirements. Melee weapons almost always have a strength requirement. So better weapons usually have better requirements. So throughout the game, you're going to want to increase that if you want to use bigger and better weapons, I guess. Your dex, attribute required to wield weapons requiring finesse, also boosts attack. So both of these, no matter what, if you upgrade one or the other, it's going to make your attack higher. The thing with dexterity is usually you want to use dexterity or upgrade your dexterity if you're using weapons that are not quite as heavy, I guess, because some dex weapons would be like some long swords or daggers, scythes, whips, and some bows and things like that. The next thing is your adaptability. Raises various attributes to ensure one's survival, boost agility, and various resistances. So you're going to have resistances like curse, fire, dark, magic, poison, stuff like that, and this will increase your resistances, not by very much, so I wouldn't recommend increasing your adaptability for the resistance boost. I would do it for boosting your agility. What your agility is your ability to roll. With the higher adaptability, the more invincibility frames, or iframes, you have when you roll. So if you have a really low adaptability, when you roll, you have a higher chance of being hit, rather than when you have a higher adaptability. Then you have more iframes, and you're less likely to be hit while you're rolling. The next stat is intelligence. Attribute required for sorceries, boost magic defense, and proficiency in sorceries. So intelligence is required in most magic builds. In this build, in the pyromancy build that I'm going to be doing, it actually does not require too much intelligence, just because it's more based around the pyromancy flame itself, which is the weapon, and just swords that I'm going to be using that will be enchanted with fire. But with intelligence, like if you're running a regular like sorcerer build, you're going to want a really high intelligence, and intelligence doesn't really do too much for hex or faith builds. But yeah, definitely increase this if you're going for a sorcerer build. And the last one is faith. That should be required for miracles, boost lightning defense, and proficiency in miracles. So miracles are going to be spells you would use in a faith build. Faith is also required for your hex builds as well. Yeah, like it says, it boosts lightning defense, proficiency in miracles. I think that's it. And also, when you're increasing these skills, there's a certain point in which they don't really give out enough, enough stats for it to be worth to put points into. So, like with intelligence and faith, I wouldn't really recommend going higher than 50, maybe a little bit over, because some spells require like 57 or something crazy like that, intelligence, and you might want to do that, but I would actually recommend using spices that decrease how much intelligence or faith that you need for a certain spell or miracle. Alright, so since I went through that, like I said, with this build, I'm going to be more using weapons, and so I don't really need my my faith and intelligence to be too high. So, looking at all these, the warrior's a really good start. It's pretty basic. You start off with sword and board, and it makes beating the game pretty simple. The knight, this one, has a better sword to start off with, and I think it's better armor as well. But you don't have a sword, so you're going to want to be rolling around, or you're going to want to find a shield as soon as you can. The swordsman, this is kind of a start to a dex build. As you can see, the dexterity on this starts off at 16, which is pretty high. I don't really like these builds, just because it's completely based off of rolling around and dodging everything, and you're also close up too, which is kind of I don't know. I just don't enjoy it as much. This bandit build, I've never actually started as a bandit before. It says high dexterity skill with bow, but really it's just a high dex start and also a high what is this? High vitality as well. The cleric is a good start to a faith build, with high faith, a good amount of attunement, and high strength. Sorcerer, obviously, this is if you're going for a pure sorcery build, which is usually soul magic. The explorer build, I've never actually started off with this, and I don't know anyone that has. It seems to be very weak with everything else except adaptability, so you'll be able to roll around a good amount. You start off with a dagger, which isn't very strong unless you're backstabbing. But he does start off with a lot of items. Looks like he has witching urn, repair powder, a pharaoh's lockstone, rusty coin, cracked blue orb. I don't really know if it's worth. And then the deprived. You start off with literally nothing. Your stats are flat out all 6, and you're level 1 to start off with. So I wouldn't really recommend this unless you want to go for something challenging. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the warrior build just to start off. It's a good starting build for pyromancy, I think. Intelligence and faith and attunement aren't too low. And I'll probably end up using a shield later in the game. So when you start off the game, you get a gift. There are a couple of things you can start off with. The first thing is this life ring. It increases your overall, or your maximum, HP when it's equipped. Human effigy. When you die, your maximum health is lowered until, or it lowers every time you die until you are, until it lowers to half of your health. But if you use a human effigy, you become human again, and you become human again, and your maximum health goes back, or that cap goes back to your maximum health. So it's really good if you keep dying over and over again, and you need to fight a boss or something, and so you use a human effigy. These are healing wares. It starts you off with life gems. Yeah, a couple life gems, some poison moss, which reduces poison buildup and cures poison completely. And then 2 more life gems. Both of those, they look like eggs right now, look like golden eggs. And the bigger they are, the more healing they do. The homeward bone brings you back to your last bonfire. Seed of a tree of giants. What this does is, if someone's invading you, if you're playing online, of course, then you can go ahead and use the seed of a tree of giants, and the NPCs will attack them, because usually they don't get attacked by the NPCs around you. So go ahead and use that if you want to, I guess, help, if you need help fighting back against invaders. A bonfire static, tossed into a bonfire to raise the strength of nearby foes, only for those who seek greater challenges. So what it does, when you approach a bonfire, you have the choice of burning an item. When you burn a bonfire static, it raises the difficulty of the area around you. It also respawns the enemies, and it brings you up to the next new game level. So when you start this game, you start off in new game, which would be, I guess, level 1. When you use a bonfire aesthetic, you automatically raise the level of that area around you to New Game Plus, which would be level 2. You can use this at points in the game if you'd like to farm a boss for their soul or anything like that. It comes in handy if you end up wanting multiple weapons from the same boss soul, or if you just get a lot of souls from one boss and you just want to keep killing him over and over again. But you do run out, so I would use these wisely. A petrified something, a simple petrified lump, and maybe of use someday. So in Dark Souls 1, there was that pendant, which was kind of had a similar description, but all the items that you start off with in this game actually do something. Petrified something, we will come across a nest and 2 talking creatures. And if you drop the petrified something, they will give you an item for it. So what I suggest in the beginning of the game, I would just get a life ring. It just increases your chances of living, and everything else on here isn't really worth it, I don't think, in the beginning of the game. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start off with that. Alright, I think that's it for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from what I've been saying. So, I hope you guys have a great day and or night, and I'll see you guys next time.